another 1-1 draw here and another late goal for Norwich to score them some points. It was Brentford 1, Norwich 1 over at what's the new Brentford Stadium? I don't even know. The Brentford Community Stadium. I don't know what it's called. The new Brentford Stadium. 1-1 here. Brentford, their little tweak there in midfield. Janelt have played the last 2 games, so Marcondes comes in for him. Pontus Jansson still out. They go back to a back 4. They played a 3, I think, in the last 2 games at Wednesday and at Stoke. So back to the back 4 there, and just Sørensen filling in for Jansson. And the front 3, is that going to be the new front 3 for the season? Do we think now? Has Ghoddos taken Kanyos' place? Ghoddos, Tony and Mbeumo. Certainly Tony and Mbeumo look stayed. For Norwich, another Sørensen there. I was under the impression he was a central midfielder, but he comes in at left back for Quintia. I guess, I don't know what's going on there, whether that's a COVID thing or an injury thing. Someone let me know in the comments. And after a couple of goals from sub appearances, Mario Vrancic starts in the number 10 position ahead of Jordan Hugill. Otherwise, as you were for Norwich, and Pukki moves back up front for the Canaries. I don't think it went down as a big chance because maybe some pressure on the shooter. That looks like a big chance to me for Emi Buendia early in the game. And then really it switches over to Brentford. There's the opening goal. Cantwell mistake leaves Sørensen up the pitch and Mbeumo in behind him. Crosses in. And Ivan Toney is on fire. At the moment, with Adam Armstrong and Ivan Toney, we expect him to score in every single game. That's the way this is going. And Toney does it again. Big chance on a play, sticks it in. That's what you've got to do when you play up top for Brentford, isn't it? Play the penalty box and the pattern of play will bring you the goals. God, here is the Norwich equaliser. Now, there's been a sense in their other games where we have to give Norwich credit and say, okay, they wore down particularly Birmingham and Wickham. They had loads of possession. They had loads of efforts. It was just getting the big chance and taking the big chance. They wore them down. It's a worldie that wins them the game against Wickham, wasn't it? Vrancic with the free kick. And then, yes, they did deserve to beat Birmingham, didn't they? But this one looks a bit different because it's a massive deflection. I mean, look, the chances of scoring from there are so slim. McLean hits a pretty speculative shot. And of all the places it can go, it deflects off Sørensen, wrong foots Raya, and rolls into the corner. So Norwich, they get points again. Great to be scoring points. But the interactions I've been having with you Norwich fans are, like me, you need to see viability about consistency of performance and wins. And still, it's just not there, is it, in terms of a viable, just the high possession numbers, create big chances, don't concede any, win 2-0, 3-0 or something. All of the victories are... so Huddersfield on the opening day, huffed and puffed Corberon's first game. That would be one, wouldn't it? Then Rotherham, 94th minute penalty against 10 men. Birmingham, okay, Birmingham very defensive, but 85th minute goal or something against the stacked defence against the 10 men there. And the one against Wickham, half puff, and one of your players has to bend a free kick in the top corner in stoppage time. None of those are really that viable, relying on huffing and puffing, breaking the team down, a red card in 2 of the games, and a worldie from Vrancic in the other game. So let's have a look at the numbers in this one. Do we see viability for Norwich? No, not really. Okay, 57% possession. Yeah, Norwich are a great possession team, aren't they? 14 shots, but 5 on target for Brentford, 3 for Norwich, 3 corners apiece. 2 big chances for Brentford, 0 for Norwich, although that Buendia one does. The algorithm not quite picking that one up for whatever reason. The one thing I guess you would see there, shots inside the box for Norwich, 10. So some sense there. But at the moment, and I'll still stand by this, and it might change, Norwich, and everybody wants us to predict the future, basically, when we're talking about football here on YouTube. There's nothing in terms of solid evidence on what has happened so far that predicts Norwich are going to go on and consistently dominate teams yet. Now, there may be many reasons why that hasn't happened yet, and it will. That may be the case, and truth will out in the end. And they've just come up against a load of stacked defences, and maybe Corber on early, and then Bournemouth away, and the Derby one was a bit, they could have won that one 99 times out of 100 and ended up losing it. But just not seeing Norwich yet put up a performance or 2-3 performances, despite 3 wins and a draw. This is the standard we're holding Norwich to after 18-19 season, by the way. Despite 10 points in 4 games, which is brilliant, isn't it? It's superb form. But in terms of patterns and evidence of it working itself out into a promotion, like a lot of us expect from Norwich this season, not seeing it quite yet. It may well click. I look at the mitigating factors against the teams they've played, and I just look at the quality on the pitch. Aarons, Buendia, Campbell, Pookie, and Skip and Rupp seem to be playing well in central midfield, which actually, when Norwich went up, that was a position where it wasn't necessarily solid. 3 or 4 different permutations through the season of central midfielders. So, Norwich, I'm not unconvinced because of the quality and some of the mitigating factors in some of the games. But my position on Norwich is I still haven't yet seen the evidence in what has gone so far of a viable, 20 points from 10 games coming up in the next 10 games. However, they've got 10 points from 4 games. So they're knocking it out yet so far without being convincing. That may change. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying the evidence thus far is Norwich haven't clicked yet. They might go on to click or they might not, for those of you who want me to predict the future. In terms of Brentford, it looks decent. They're not quite in their stride yet. We had that odd turnaround against Preston where they were 2-0 up and ended up crashing and losing 4-2. I think they're missing Janssen a little bit. I think given the state of the goal in this game, that they will consider themselves, they probably should have won this one. But, hey-ho, they didn't. From a very positive point of view, Tony is banging the goals in. That's all working well. I think the front 3, there's probably more to come in terms of them all contributing. But Mbuemo's getting the assists. Remember, from a Brentford point of view, I was having a chat the other day with someone in the comments. You don't need to score 80 goals to get promoted. You really don't. There was this conversation of, we need to replace all of these goals that's gone. No, you don't. If the goal difference is positive at the end of the season, you should win a lot of your games, shouldn't you? So what I'm saying is you don't have to win 3-1. You can win 1-0 and not score, get promoted with 60 or 70 goals rather than, I don't know what they got last year. Did they get 80? I couldn't tell you, but they scored a lot of goals last season, Brentford, and the whole of the front 3 did. So maybe a little tweak in expectations that if Brentford can just win tight games, service Tony, keep the ball, dominate possession, doesn't have to be 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 4-1, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily buy the argument that Watkins and Benrahma's goals need to be replaced. It's just the goal difference needs to turn into points, i.e. there's no point creating 60 chances in 3 games, winning one of the games 4-0, and then drawing the other 2 because you didn't take chances. So it's about game management for Brentford. I think Norgard and Janssen, whenever they come back, help with the game management. But I think that's the key at the moment for the Bees. Brentford 1, Norwich 1. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.